Hello, and this is the Brandon Report, Iowa edition, as we are traveling. But this is still Colorado news. So, here in today's news, Governor Polis is pushing cities to adopt new state-endorsed housing policies by tying them to grant eligibility. What does that mean, bruv? There is $280 million in upcoming state grants. If cities do not comply, they may lose out on state funding. So we may see changes in zoning, permitting, and etc., making sure everything kind of speeds up, which actually might be a good thing. If you have tried to build an addition to your house, get zoning for land that you've been purchasing, you pretty much can imagine how slow that's been, how long that has been taking for, the state and city to approve your requests. But this may cause them to have to speed up everything. So that is not a bad thing. Also, modular and off-site housing innovations in finance. The state has been investing heavily in modular housing and off-site construction, panelizing homes, kit homes, double wide trailers, such like that, modular homes. They're being prioritized through programs like Proposition 123. So you can look at that through CHFA's website, kind of expanding on that. There's also a loan and grant approval to help manufacturers build or expand facilities that produce affordable and innovative housing. So I'm not sure. I think that's probably more of like the younger millennials and unders who have been moving away from the traditional single family home, American dream, white picket fence type of mindset into more explorative and exciting options like modular homes, RVs. Tiny homes has been a big thing in our generation for people wanting to not have to spend $500,000 to $1 million on a home, that they just sleep in, right? So there's different options that are opening up, and there's definitely more money coming towards that type of advancement and change to our culture as well. So some of the requirements include that a percentage of units produced must be affordable. So that is a big key. But then again, we have to use our real critical thinking brains on this. I'm a real estate agent here in Colorado, and I've worked with affordable housing. And the one thing that I will say across the board with affordable housing is it still comes across as a scam to me. It really comes across as a scam. They'll say something like, okay, this home is $300,000 in Colorado. But to qualify, you have to have, if you're a single person, you have to make under $40,000. If you are two people, you have to make under $60,000. And just right off the bat, you're like, okay, that's good because, if I don't make a lot of money, I can still qualify for this home. That's not the full story. If you only make $40,000, you won't qualify for the loan that gets you approved for the $300,000 house. So it's like, oh, you're saying based off of your circumstances that I would never be approved for this house anyway. It doesn't make any sense. To be qualified for that $300,000 house, for example, to get qualified for the loan, you'd actually have to make upwards of like $50,000 to get qualified for that. But the affordable housing says that you can't make over $40,000. Sounds like a scam, right? So it sounds like it's, I don't know. I don't even know what the incentive would be for that. But like maybe it's an incentive to get 3 people in the home. Like if you're a 3-person household, you can't make above 75,000. So maybe it's designed to get multiple people in a home. But what if you are a single person trying to survive and you want to buy a house and you want to upgrade your situation? Affordable housing may not be for you, right? So that's something to ponder. Inventory, pricing, market dynamics shifting. In Metro Denver, active inventory for single family homes is up nearly 60% over 2 years. And the condo and townhome inventory is up 86%. So what does that mean? Homes are spending more time on the market versus previous years. Buyers have more negotiating powers. Like I said in the last video, if you are a buyer, it is still your time to buy. When interest rates decrease, which we thought they were going to decrease by my last episode, so I'll jump into that. So basically, the Fed interest rate, the Fed rate has gone down, which typically triggers a housing market interest rate to also go down. But since they announced it early, a lot of lenders have already priced in the fact that the Fed interest rates were going to go down, so rates stayed the same. They just repriced it in the market. So as of right now, rates have not gone down, and hopefully they may go down in like the November, December time. But based off of everything that we've been seeing, it's not going to be a situation where we're going to be jumping down to the 5s and 4s again. We may see a little movement, but nothing crazy enough to shift a big boom. So If you have been diligent about wanting to buy a home and you feel very secure, still be very secure in getting your home. But when it comes to anything else, it's not going to be a situation where you can bank on rates decreasing and then you going out there and then just beating the curve and then getting a house just because you've been timing the market well, if that makes sense. Still, get your house today if you are a buyer, because it's probably going to be very consistent in the next few years, based off of what they're saying. Because even though there's talk of rates decreasing, there's been talks of rate decreasing since 2022, when the rates actually shot up to that 9%, right? To 7, 8, and 9. Like, oh, it's going to go down to the 5s, it's going to go down to the 6s. Don't listen to any of that talk. Just take today like this is what it's going to be. And if you do that, that also will help you in the long run, because if you buy a house, to say at 6% today, when rates officially do go down, wherever it is, you can always refinance out of that. But if you wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, then you're going to be paying an extra 50 to 100, or maybe in certain areas, maybe even 200,000 more than you would have been spending if you had just bought the house before, which means that you're actually overpaying by a lot more. Because interest rates, you can always refinance a home price. If you buy it at 500, you bought it at 500. It's not going to be cheaper than that. So hopefully that computes. This next section is my favorite. This is my personal interest section of the Brandon Report. So this is about Lecrae, the Christian artist. He dropped an album, Reconstruction, back in August 2025. It's his 10th album. I've been seeing a lot about it, but I really wanted to talk about it because, there's certain artists who have no problem jumping from pop to rap to Christian music and back. Kanye West has had a problem, but he's one of the ones who jumps back around. And my question to ponder is it all talent level? Right? Because Lecrae, across the board, everybody I've ever talked to about music has always said Lecrae is a very talented artist. He's respected in every circle. And that always struck me as weird, that are they saying he's respected in every circle because other Christian artists, other Christian rappers are not talented enough to be respected in other circles? Something to ponder. I wonder, is it also the fact that maybe Lecrae is kind of in the middle of a lifestyle of fully accepting the role as a Christian artist in his own lane, staying strictly for God, not wanting to be in circles where people are not, worshiping God in the same level or to the same degree? Or is it something else, right? Because I'm thinking about how Kirk Franklin is getting in a lot of trouble by, his type of dance moves. So that would be somebody saying, oh, maybe Kirk Franklin is not living the lifestyle of someone who, lives a true godly lifestyle and should be, singing to our youth, taking this role of leadership, taking this role of music pastoralness in our youth. So the question to ponder is, the few Christian artists who can go back and forth like Lecrae, Kirk Franklin, Kanye West, is it all talent based? Or do you think that there's actually a situation where they're not true, down to earth Christian artists? Maybe that's not even a fair question, but I asked it anyway. This has been the Brandon Report. Until next time.